Okay.
Great. My name is Christine Scherenberg, and I support the physical educators in Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools, and happy to be here.
Do you want to go ahead and popcorn?
Sure. Brian, go ahead.
Okay, I am Brian. I am the school-based coordinator of school-based health initiatives at Children's Mercy. And I'll go to Jill.
Jill Rayford with Johnson County Department of Health and Environment. I will go to, hi, Miranda. Miranda.
Hey, I'm Miranda with Bike Walk KC. I'm the Education Outreach Coordinator. I'll popcorn to Jamius.
Hi, I'm Jamius White, Spire. I am the Program Manager for the Hype Project.
Natalie, do you want to go ahead?
Sure.
Oh,
Hi.
there was someone else. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hi, my name is Natalie Updick. I work with Katie for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative at Children's Mercy. Has Miranda gone yet?
Miranda just went. I think we have
Oh,
Brooke.
sorry.
That's okay.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I work at Kansas City University in our Score One for Health department, and I'm the CHAMPS coordinator.
And for those who don't know me, as Natalie mentioned, I work with Natalie for the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative, and I help to support the sector, the school sector of the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan. Yeah, so thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm so excited you could be here. Genius. I'm going to go ahead and pull up your slides. Give me just a second. We'll go ahead and jump right in.
All right. So hopefully all of you are doing well. For those that are in the colder weathers, hope you're warm. So as I said earlier, I am Jamius White of Spire, and I run an initiative by Spire called the Hype Project. So the Hype Project pretty much is our service to youth. We strive to increase youth advocacy for public health. And we do this through a different of initiatives where we address policy, systems, and environmental change, and through civic engagement projects that address healthy eating and active living. So in a nutshell, our goal is for youth to take the lead on addressing matters in their community that affect those two categories of healthy eating and active living. And, we partner with schools, organizations, or any entities that house a youth demographic between the ages of 12 to 17. And if you'll go to the next slide, Katie. So pretty much the Hype Project is a curriculum-based program. It's comprised of 5 different phases. These phases are listed as think, learn, act, share, and evaluate and share. So with these phases, each one targets how we want youth to see the world of public health or the community that they live in. And this could be from their classroom to their neighborhood to their local playground or anything in the community that they can see with their own eyes or use their other senses to interact with. And as long as it's stemming towards the individual person, we show them through the curriculum how their individual thoughts and their individual acts bleed over into the community and the other sectors that are involving them all the way up to the state house, or just on that governmental level of way of thinking. So if you look here where we have the think, learn, and act phase, it pretty much gives you a brief description of what those sections of the curriculum target. If we go to the next slide, where share and evaluate, where we pretty much have the youth do what we do to our program. We evaluate it and we send it through a series of tests to gauge where our fidelity lies, right? Because one of our things that we want to do is put a proven product out there, and we want to make sure that our service is being met and addresses those things that our youth want to respond to and that they deem to be necessary to them, versus just giving and providing service to our youth that we think they need. So we want them to be included in every part of the process. And then sharing, that's one of their outreach to the community and various stakeholders that allow them the opportunity to meet the people that make these decisions at those larger levels that affect them with, the access to play in the park on the weekends, or being able to use the school's neighboring playground on outside of schooling hours because there isn't a local park in their community, or those different factors that address how a kid is active, whether it be food scarcity in their neighborhood, whether it be inadequate sidewalks, no crosswalkings, the lights, just these other different things that affect kids being physically active outside of their home. Those are the things that we want to address, and we want their involvement in doing it. So increasing their advocacy for public health allows things like this to happen. If we go to the next slide, you'll be able to see our logic model on how we carry out the things that I just told you. Where we start with the idea and then how we use our resources or our collaborative efforts to align different missions and, engage with the necessary audiences to push forward towards the end of that logic model, where we, in turn, our long-term outcome being how sustainable is this product of the Hype Project, because each Hype Project carries its own life, but we would like to increase the collaboration amongst the communities, where the school sectors partner with the local hospital partners with the school to gauge like where those kids come from. So there's always an opportunity for a larger group to take on a larger product if we have more hands at the table or more seats at the table. So this logic model pretty much speaks to that. If we go to the next slide, we are looking right now at our overall session objectives, or this is right here is what I call the bird's eye view of the curriculum. So of each phases, we have different components within that phase, which details out our training for the youth, from the advisor training to the youth training. And there are activities and different literature within each section of this of these phases that get us from just the idea of introducing public health to our youth to the end, where they're now having a different level of conversation and understanding for said concern that they come up with. So from this, they learn from these phases, they learn how to create an action plan, a budget plan. They learn who to speak with within the communities. They learn how to work with each other, and they learn how to canvass their neighborhood or their local area to test the fidelity of the things that are already there. And if they aren't there, why aren't they there? So it allows them to ask questions that they don't even know that they have about the simple ideas that they want to go play football, basketball, or, jump rope, or whatever their choice of play is. Or even when it comes to the eating, like what kind of quality food that we're eating in schools. What's the water systems like right now? If it's cold in certain areas, are there adequate places for us to stand and stay warm when we're waiting on the bus? Like, are these parameters put in place to address these types of issues or the pressing issues that are coming forward towards us, or towards the youth. We can go to the next slide. So pretty much this right here details out or gives you a brief view of those different components of a HYPE project: the supply kit, the advisor training, the technical assistance that you will receive from the whole Spire staff. So we have different, we have a trainer model where we operate, where we license a certain organization or a school or entity to utilize the HYPE project as their own, where they can train people to train the youth, versus me, the program director, or a whole Spire staff training the entire population that we will be working with. It was pretty much, you know, having this person step in as a conduit for the actual, you know, program, and that's aids to our fidelity level, excuse me, and how we carry out all of the things that we speak about in our program. Next slide. So pretty much, like I spoke to earlier, our goal with our collaborative agenda is to pretty much partner with, you know, entities within the community. I think that there's an opportunity for any idea to come to fruition if we have the right people at the table. And that's what our collaborative agenda speaks to. You know, what we're doing right now, having a conversation where I'm introducing, you know, a option for serving our youth in different areas, you know, seeing how we can make that happen, you know, seeing what needs to be done, who's, you know, here from the larger level, who, if we're trying to do a project where we need DOT involved, or if we need this particular council person involved, if we need this particular, you know, store, or, you know, mom and pop's local business. So it's pretty much about just bringing all of our ideas to the table and our resources to see how we can bring this project to life. Next slide. So, you know, with that being said, you know, my final question, or my only question to you all is, you know, and I would, you know, like some feedback if possible. What are your thoughts on youth participating in civic engagement projects? And I will open the floor if anyone, you know, would like to answer that question or has their viewpoint on what that looks like to them. Okay. If there's any questions, you know, in regards to anything that you've heard, I will open the floor for those now.
I had a question. So I think this is great. I'm in Johnson County, and I primarily now work with increasing physical activity to and from school in elementary schools. But I heard you say this was targeted more for older kids, right? 12 to 17. So
Yes, ma'am.
I had a couple questions. What would you say? And I work with, so I said elementary schools. What would be the target, or who would be a good candidate for this type of program? And then secondly, do you offer this in Johnson County? I think it'd definitely be something that the health department would like to be involved in. And so just want to see kind of like next steps as well.
So next steps first, yes. Where it's offered is pretty much with anyone within the community that's willing to do any or serve our youth or do any youth advocacy. The age range is at 12 to 17. So because our guide is based around the National Health Education Standards, they deemed it age appropriate for middle school and high school level students. So our program not only runs in schools, it can run through nonprofits, it can run through local youth serving organizations. And there's no cutoff as far as how far the HYPE project can go. That was one of the purpose of this particular meeting, with aiming to get it outside of South Carolina as well. You know, so right now I've assumed this role 7 months ago now. So one of my first works is to partner with, you know, school districts, to partner with other entities outside of South Carolina, because it's a curriculum based program. It has legs of its own to be able to stand next to and within systems or infrastructures that already have things in place, where it doesn't take away from anything that's already there, whether it be at a local middle school or a high school. If it's at a high school and middle school, or some organization that works with both, where they have both middle and high school. So there's so many different ways that this can, be laid out to address and accommodate, all parties, from that 12 to 17 age. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and is this typically an after-school program, or when do they meet?
So ideally, what we've seen with organizations, so it hasn't been pushed through a school as of yet. Most of our stuff has been done with faith-based organizations or youth-serving organizations. Now, they may use a school as a host site. So after school, doing breaks from school, and or it just depends on the tenure with their youth. So the average youth training and advisor training would take anywhere between, on the slower side of things, if we only meet once or twice a week, we'd say 4 months, 4 to 5 months. But a hype project could take, if you have access to the youth on a more frequent basis, you might not need all of that time. You could already have a project outline that you would want to do. It's just about creating the opportunity or having something to do with your youth. So after school, it can fit in that demographic. It can fit in, let's say, a local football team at the high school, something that they can do as a team building exercise, where they come in and they want to do a hype project to redo their practice field, right? So a hype project could fit there, where they pretty much learn how to go through the process of making that happen. They're acting as the people who would be taking care of that said football field or that equipment room, or if they wanted to enhance the amount of food that they get or the quality of food that they get prior to game day. So it can be curated any kind of way. So it's not like a one size, fits all type of scenario. It's one of those scenarios where we create the situation and we collaborate in the way that we need to address whatever that core topic is.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions?
I have a question. Have you had the opportunity to work with any athletic teams? Because I like that idea, and I could see partnerships in our district,
So
on a
that's
case by case.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
So that's one of my target areas as well. I prior to me assuming the role, they only targeted, because the program was started in 2012. So as a pilot, they piloted at USC, University of South Carolina, and that's where the National Health Education Standards was introduced through the Arnold School of Health, and through their different collaborative efforts to get it to that next level. But as far as going after, organized teams in that manner, it has never been done. But upon my understanding and, doing some revitalization to the curriculum, it's literally a mirroring, it's a marriage there, in regards to it already being a demographic of youth that fit the age bracket. And it allows those particular youth that are getting ready to graduate or in the high school level to enhance their resume. This is an opportunity where you can meet people who can, give you that recommendation letter for that college, just based off of you going through this process. Because along the way, our goal is for you to use the skill sets that you've learned through this hype project, and you to use those to get to that next level, whether that be going to a trade school, going into the military, going into the workforce, going into higher education. this right here is literally another source to help youth become better and brighter with their voice in the community. So it hasn't been done, but those are on my list of, to-dos. I've already spoken with some schools who are looking at doing it with their football team. That's where that reference came from, at the local level here in South Carolina. So, a lot of what we're doing, and to my understanding, prior to me coming, there was a conversation with Kansas City to get the Hype Project instilled, but then COVID happened and it put some delays on everything. So, what this conversation here is a continuation of that. I would like to work with some, sports, whether it be volleyball, tennis, swimming, whatever, entities that we can have, because I wouldn't even mind having one school doing multiple hype teams at the same time, because that's literally how it can be ran. There's no particular cutoffs to how we can, create a collaboration between the Hype Project and, schools in Kansas City, or in, I think you said Miss Jill Johnson. And that's my goal, to literally everybody who's on this call be able to, share this information or provide some entity in the area that you work in this information with the intent for them to even inquire about what Hype Project looks like in the system that they currently run. And Katie, if I have no more questions, I will return the floor back to you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and also, if you're looking for more information or want to get a hold of Jamius, I'll provide his email here in a second, but I will post the link to their website. So yeah, thank you so much. And what Jamius said, I'm not fully aware of our previous relationship, but I know Shelly had mentioned that's kind of how I learned about Jamius and the Hype Project, that we were starting training, the process of training the trainer before COVID happened, so that we could implement the Hype Project in Kansas City. So yeah, thank you again, Jamius.
I thank you all. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great meeting. And again, stay warm.
Yeah, see you too.
All right. Talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Katie, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
When you guys were getting ready to do the train the trainer, was that that step is something that has to be done before working with students? Or is that train the trainer, is that adult?
So, and Natalie, feel free to step in, because we were both in the same original meeting, because this happened before we started. From my understanding, the curriculum, it is training the adults. So Wholespire trains the individual that will go in and then work with the kids. So it was training the person that would work to help the kids with their advocacy project. So that's where we were.
Okay.
I think the initial idea was, when it was weighing in, that our team would get certified, so we would be able to go out and train different organizations to do the curriculum and their programming. But now that our group is kind of refocused, we're not doing specific like programming ourselves. So we still want to share the opportunity, I think, for people to learn the curriculum and put it out in the community.
So potentially we could use the curriculum to train, say, our physical education, high school and middle school teams and or athletic directors, and then they can use it with whomever, whatever groups of students it fits. Is that?
Yeah, that's the
potential?
idea.
Okay.
Yep. Which I love some of the examples he gave, like the football field. My first thought was like safe routes to school. Like that's already in itself a big opportunity to help improve infrastructure and have an advocacy project around that. And so that was my first thought when I heard about this curriculum. It would be a good opportunity for. But on that note, as a reminder that the KCPA plan does have funding available through some of our sector groups, and each sector has up to $15,000. Some of our sectors have already used their funding, but the school sector does have funding left, so we have 8,300. And then I do know that, again, you can partner with other organizations, so like Parks and Rec. They have almost all 15,000 of their funds left. And then our infrastructure sector is starting this year, starting back up, and they've got all their funding. So if you had an idea and wanted to apply for something like the high curriculum, but do an even bigger project where funding was required, you could apply for something like that, or you could apply for this funding to start the curriculum at your organization, or Christine in this case, get trained and train all of your PE teachers.
Did it, I'm sure it's on the website. Did it say what the, like what it costs to go through the train the trainer?
No, I think it's dependable upon like how many individuals they're training. You are able to request a quote though. On that note, I don't have anything else with implementation applications. I know right now we don't have any in review. So, and I do like to bring it up at every meeting because it's an easy application. It's essentially, yeah, it's money. And there's an opportunity to use it and make a difference. So I like to remind everyone that there is an opportunity to apply. And if you want the application or have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself, Christine, or Natalie. Shelly's not here, but Shelly Summer, she's our program manager of the Kansas City Healthy Lifestyles Collaborative. The next item we have on the agenda are group updates. So I didn't know if anybody had anything going on with their organization, whether it's a project they wanted to share about or an event happening. So if you have any updates and would like to share, the floor is open.
I don't really have a current activity coming up, other than just to discuss that in May will be back to school day. So usually this team would kind of start working on that maybe in the next month or so, just coming out with some kind of plan for a metro-wide message, and maybe we even call Mark back on and have them see what they can do too. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there to maybe think about that for the agenda in the next couple of months.
I'm glad you brought that up. I can't believe May is just around the corner.
Yeah, we usually try to get started with the planning. I know, but just with schools, you have to get it on their calendar and start, saving the date. So we'll probably start planning that in February. So, anyway, I just wanted to put that out there and, think about maybe this team doing some kind of collaborative message for metro-wide. And then maybe Katie, do you want to reach out to Mark? Okay, or else I can too, whatever, and see if maybe we could get something scheduled where we could meet to kind of discuss that.
Yeah, and I remember last time we talked to Patrick, hopefully there's been plenty like enough time has passed since our last conversation, but he had funding available, whether it was the promotion of Bike and Walk to School Day, or whether he could use it to help fund for certain things like safety equipment. So I definitely need to follow up with him and see what he learned for that. But I'll reach out after this meeting and I'll keep you posted, Jill.
Is the date, I saw two different dates, but it says Bike and Roll May 8th. Or is it, I saw another date for May 17th.
We're gonna do it the 8th, whatever is the That's what we decided on because that was on the website. I mean, technically a school, if they want to participate, we don't care when they do it, but we decided on the 8th because that's what was on. Let me see.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Bike and Roll website. does
yeah,
have-
yeah. Walkbiketoschool.org has it on. Yeah, the 8th. So that's what we've been talking about so far. So it's usually the first Wednesday, but I need to look at a calendar. I think this year, let's see, March, it actually is the first would be the first Wednesday. So it's actually the second Wednesday in May this year. The 8th.
And this is another event that's right around the same time, Kansas Kids Fitness Day. If people want information about it, I think that Capered, the Kansas Association, or the Alliance for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, Dance, they're promoting KKFD this year. It doesn't have to be on a certain day. I think they're promoting it on May 3rd. But our district, I know, is doing half the third graders on the 7th and the other half on the 9th. But if someone's associated with the school district and wants to get started with Kansas Kids Fitness Day, I'm happy to field questions. Or people can reach out.
Just looking up if I could find a link or anything. Christine, maybe after this
Oh, for
meeting, or
Kansas.
we can schedule, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have time, we can talk about it further and
Yeah.
just for more information so I can post something in our newsletter.
Yeah, I will check the Caper website. It basically just recently said more information coming, so I haven't looked, but I can check on that.
Thank you. I hope I don't sound ignorant, but Miranda, does Bike Walk do anything? Do they partner with anybody for bike and walk and roll to school day?
I'm also a little ignorant. I started in August, and I'm
Okay.
just now transitioning away from like teaching kids and into my coordinator role. We do like walk to school day things. Usually we're like asked to come to schools and we'll like table, but we don't like, go to every school we work with because it's just so many. So I imagine it's a similar thing. But
Okay. Yeah, I thought I knew you worked Johnson County before, but I didn't know like the extent of your reach on that specific event. So, well, thanks. And it's good to see you again. I remember you joined was it our December meeting with Nolan?
yeah, I came in and watched. It was great. And it's good to see y'all too.
Well, does anybody else have any other organizational web updates they'd like to share? Okay. Wanted to give everyone the opportunity. Well, I have a few updates. We have a couple announcements. So the Kansas City Physical Activity Plan, we have a media and communication sector, and for the last, I'd like to say almost year, we've been working on starting a physical activity campaign. So we are officially launching that. Right now we're getting prepared. So we're collecting like B-roll images and we're trying to get some more community participants, like our partner organizations, to contribute some of their stories about why they move so that we can start launching the social media itself. So on that note, we have an ask, and so we are looking for individuals who would like to share their story about why they move. And so I actually have a link. If you have time, you can either submit a video or a written story, and responses are due by January 19th. So let me post that in the chat really quick. And then we also have, I thought I had it on here and I don't, but we have our social media is up. So if you'd like to give us a follow and stay up to date with that, I'm going to post these in the chat as well. So we have a Facebook and an Instagram up and running. And again, we will be posting more information here soon, probably starting in February. But I wanted to get the word out now. Okay. Responses. So the other update is just a reminder that we're reorganizing this sector a little bit about how we conduct meetings. So we are working to schedule guest speakers like Jamius and Nolan. And so if you have any ideas or there's a topic you're interested in hearing about, please feel free to send them my way. Let me know. I'll post my email in the chat and we can work on getting that scheduled. And I don't have any other updates. It was really just that. Natalie, did we want to share anything about, or if you, I know I'm putting you on the spot, if you have any updates about the State of Play Aspen Institute report or anything related to that?
We've made a little more progress. I don't know if you guys are, well, some of you helped with the distribution of the survey, so I really appreciate that. We've had really good response rates in some regions, but not in others. And because of that, they're going to keep the survey open through the end of the month. Because right now we're only telling a story of a couple counties in our metro area. But they gave me an update this week and they said more responses are coming in from Johnson and Jackson County specifically. We're still a little weak in Platte, Cass, and Wyandotte County. I can share the survey link with you.
Thank you. I was just about to try and find that.
Good. And if anyone wants any of the social media graphics again, I would be happy to send you those. You can email me. Okay.
Are they still doing the unique link too, so that if like
that
you're
encourages people to do it, they're still offering, yes, but I think
Okay.
at this point they're really just focusing on the general
wanting the general?
survey. Mhm.
So
If
I
we're
know
gonna
John.
want that data, we can set up a link still though.
Okay. Because I know Johnson County Parks and Rec, they went ahead and helped with the distribution of the survey. And what they found so far with their preliminary data was kind of some of the activities that youth were interested in them starting. So I think I'm gonna get it wrong. It was something like with martial arts. Was it Taekwondo or okay.
So
They found that girls wanted those classes. So the information you as yourself can receive as an organization could be valuable for future program planning. So yeah, if anybody wants to take a look and help us distribute this survey, that would be great. Okay. Well, I know I don't have anything on my end. Just a reminder, our next meeting is February 8th. And if you would like to register in advance, I do have the link. I know there's so many things going in the chat right now. So
I
go
got
ahead,
thinking,
Natalie.
what are the next steps with Jamius? Like, is the goal to like set up a training with organizations with him? I should have asked him this. I thought of it afterwards.
Yeah, from what I understand, that's his goal for sure. And I think that's
Okay.
ours from our meeting with Shelly. I know we want to try and get this started again. It's just, I know our team, as you pointed out, we're not really in the community programming side. We're more into connecting everybody with each other. But I know that we want to help get it started again. So. And kind of one of the things around us having like guest speakers and stuff, it's to give people ideas to start something like implementing the HUD curriculum in their organization to do these advocacy projects. And again, it relates back to this funding opportunity. So kind of helping strike up some ideas to see if anybody would be interested in them. Well, there's nothing else. It looks like everybody has 12 minutes of their afternoon back. Christine, do you want to stay on for a second? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording and let everybody go ahead and enjoy their afternoon.